I have to say, I have a lot of memories of Diane. I guess I feel as though I've known you my whole life, and I'm very uncomfortable here, of course. She was very encouraging.
Oscar-winning actress Diane Keaton has died. People reports Keaton died at her home in California. No cause of death given.
What really happened in Diane Keaton's final moments that left Hollywood stunned? Why did Al Pacino refuse to attend her funeral, despite declaring his eternal love? And what devastating ultimatum ended their legendary romance decades ago? The answers to these questions reveal a story far more profound than anyone imagined. The morning of October 11th, 2025, began with deceptive tranquility in Los Angeles. Gentle sunlight filtered through the trees lining the driveway of Diane Keaton's Brentwood home, where everything appeared as orderly and peaceful as ever. But beneath this serene facade lay a silence far heavier than usual. At precisely 8:08 a.m., emergency services received a terse call: person down. According to the source document, no further detail was given, just those three chilling words that set a hurried response in motion. Paramedics arrived to find Diane motionless, surrounded by the quiet remnants of a life lived fully, yet privately. There were no signs of struggle or chaos, only an overwhelming stillness that seemed to cradle her departure. Within hours, the world learned that Diane Keaton, the beloved actress and cultural icon, had passed away at age 79. Yet the full truth of her final moments remained veiled in mystery. The family confirmed that Diane's health had rapidly declined, but chose to keep specific causes confidential. This discretion only deepened the intrigue, as fans and journalists probed for answers about her sudden passing. Diane had long been candid about her battles with skin cancer and a lifelong struggle with an eating disorder, but whether these contributed to her final day remained unclear. Reports from acquaintances painted a picture of a woman who had become increasingly fragile over recent months, with a once vibrant personality overpowered by sickness and tiredness. What secret did Diane Keaton's memorial reveal about her relationship with Al Pacino that shocked everyone present? 3 days after her passing, on October 14th, 2025, family and friends assembled in a quiet seaside garden chosen for its intimacy and natural beauty. The setting reflected Diane's lifelong resistance to Hollywood spotlight, offering instead a peaceful refuge where her story could be honored with privacy and grace. Ancient olive trees whispered in the breeze, as if nature itself stood witness to a promise Diane had once made in her memoir. Bette Midler, Diane's dear friend and co-star, arrived wearing a gray scarf covering her tear-stained cheeks. She was accompanied by Carol Bayer Sager, who had witnessed Diane's courage during her final struggles. The flowers were arranged simply yet meaningfully, small twigs of lavender from Diane's own garden, representing her fondness for simplicity over extravagant displays. At the ceremony's heart were Diane's children. Dexter, her 29-year-old daughter, spoke with a voice both calm and emotional about the lessons their mother had taught them. She described how Diane viewed life as a comedy, sometimes clumsy, often painful, but always worthy of applause. Duke, her 25-year-old son, shared tender recollections of afternoons with Diane wearing her signature hats, laughing as she walked their golden retriever, Reggie. Hollywood's elite paid their respects in profound ways. Woody Allen arrived quietly and late, embodying a complex mix of admiration and sorrow. When he spoke, his voice carried deep emotion as he described Diane as the embodiment of creativity, more than an actress who performed, but a soul who lived with wit and self-deprecating humor, unique to true geniuses. Francis Ford Coppola, who had cast Diane as Kay Adams in the Godfather trilogy, spoke warmly of her creative force and kindness. Robert Duvall added his own words, recalling late nights on set when Diane's presence lifted everyone's spirits, transforming tense moments into shared laughter and strength. Representing a younger generation were Reese Witherspoon and Goldie Hawn, who arrived carrying wildflowers from fields Diane had cherished. Witherspoon, mentored by Diane early in her career, spoke through emotion about how Diane had changed perceptions of women on screen, making them smart, funny, and fiercely original. But why was Al Pacino, the man who once declared, "I will love you forever," conspicuously absent? While Diane Keaton's funeral brought together family, friends, and Hollywood legends, one notable absence left a profound mark: Al Pacino. According to the source document, his silence at the ceremony was not due to indifference, but rather an overwhelming sorrow that kept him from crossing the Garden Gate. Close friends revealed that upon hearing of Diane's passing, Pacino was engulfed in deep anguish, a pain both raw and haunting. Pacino's grief was rooted in decades of shared history, beginning with their collaboration in The Godfather and the complex, passionate relationship that endured beyond the screen. His heartbreak was compounded by lingering regret over a choice Diane had given him years earlier: marry me or we break up. That moment now weighed heavily on him, overshadowing his present with what might have been. Unable to face the formal goodbye, Pacino chose a private tribute instead. He gathered everything that reminded him of their time together: photographs of Diane's bright laughter, letters she had written, and small presents they had exchanged with personal meanings. Going through Diane's notebook, Pacino broke down sobbing when he discovered a note saying, "Don't forget to smile even if the whole world is against you." During a 2017 tribute at the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award given to Diane, Pacino had uttered the famous words, "I will love you forever." Now, according to the source, those phrases sounded like a belated goodbye, emphasizing that Diane was not just a star, she was the great love of his life and an essential part of his soul. Their connection began in 1971 on the set of The Godfather, where their on-screen chemistry quickly blossomed into a passionate relationship. Yet their romance was far from simple, a tango of joy and recurring heartbreaks marked by breakups and reconciliations. Diane once wrote in an unpublished letter that she wanted to be his guide, to anchor his restless genius. The climax came during the filming of The Godfather Part 3 in 1990. Diane hoped the experience might rekindle their bond and inspire Pacino to build the life they once dreamed of together. But when she issued the ultimatum to marry or break up, Pacino, though hurt, chose to walk away. Following that decision, Diane resolved to end the relationship, and this heartbreak shaped her lifelong choice to remain unmarried. Instead of marriage, Diane found fulfillment in motherhood. At age 50, she adopted her 2 children and transformed her home into a sanctuary of books, films, and laughter. In a 2019 interview, she expressed that her children were her greatest love, affirming her independence and redefining family on her own terms. Diane Keaton's legacy extends far beyond her Oscar-winning performance in Annie Hall and her iconic roles in the Godfather trilogy. She reshaped Hollywood's portrayal of women, carved a path defined by originality and depth, and became a beacon for actresses like Reese Witherspoon, who credited her with opening doors for women to be smart, funny, and original on screen. Her final chapter, marked by both triumph and heartache, witnessed by those who loved her most, reminds us that greatness is measured not solely by acclaim, but by the capacity to inspire and uplift others. Through her work, her courage, and her humanity, Diane Keaton continues to embody the rare harmony of creativity and conscience, leaving behind a timeless example of strength, grace, and emotional honesty that will forever shape the world of film and those who dare to live authentically.